Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel InfoSec Lab, and it's day number 7 of TryHackMe's Advent of Cyber 2024. Today we're gonna be doing another log analysis, but on a cloud environment, AWS. We're gonna be going over two major AWS services that provides a monitoring tool, which is AWS CloudWatch and AWS CloudTrail. We're gonna learn some basic concepts about those two services and learn how to read the log events from those two services. Now, without further ado, let's get started, okay? Before, as usual, we have to start the virtual machine, and we're gonna be going over some basic concepts first before the activities. So, in AWS, there are there are several services that allows us to perform monitoring on the application in the AWS environment. But the two main ones that we're gonna talk about today is gonna be AWS CloudWatch and AWS CloudTrail. So AWS CloudWatch provide us the tools and services to monitor an application's performance by providing its metrics and its usage as a searcher. So basically, when you have an application or a stack of applications in the cloud environments, you're gonna have to collect all the informations and events happening to those applications, like and AWS CloudWatch allows us to collect all the metrics or the data from different sources of the applications and gather everything into one centralized hub dashboard for us to manage and analyze the log events. AWS CloudTrail, on the other hand, helps us monitor all the activities happen and actions happen within the AWS cloud environment. Meaning that, so the main difference between these two services is that AWS CloudTrail is application related, whereas I'm sorry, my bad. AWS CloudWatch is application related, while AWS CloudTrail is user AWS environment related. So those are the main difference between those two services. Also, we gotta learn about log events. Log event is a single entry event that happen to the application. Log stream is a collection of log events within a single source. So let's say you have a web server, right? And then there are multiple activities happening on that on that server. One activity, one get request is considered one log event, and then when a user get to the homepage, to the login page, login with credential, there can be multiple activities, multiple requests, both get and post requests. Then those are considered the log streams, which contain multiple events within the applications. And log groups is a collection of multiple log streams. The log streams are grouped together by different categories or logics depending on the usage and the business requirements. Going to the CloudTrail, there are a few key terms that we have to understand. That CloudTrail is always gonna be on default. It's always gonna be enabled by default. My bad. And then all the logs in CloudTrail are JSON formatted, which helps us easy to understand and manage and when reading the data from the logs. Event history. When user access CloudTrail, they will see the option event history. The event history is a record of actions that taken place within the last 90 days. These records can be filtered and retrieved for investigations or for analysis. We can also create custom event history, meaning that trails the above mentioned event history can also start a default trail, including out of the box. However, if you want to keep some information or some events beyond 90 days, we can actually create custom trail within the AWS trail to monitor all the activities or events beyond 90 days. Those are highly customizable. And last but not least is deliverable. As mentioned, CloudWatch can be used as a single access point for logs generated from different various sources within the applications, whereas CloudTrail is no different as all the log events from CloudTrail can also be integrated into the CloudWatch for monitoring and analysis. All right, so those are the basic concepts. We're gonna go through some basics of JQ, which is a command tool used for processing JSON files. So let's take a look at this one. I have a booklets JSON file right here. As you can see, it contains 1, 2, 3, 5 entries, and then each of the entry has 3 keys: book title, genre, and page count. Now this one, because it's a small file with little data, so it's easy for us to understand. But when it comes to reading AWS logs, it's gonna be tedious and it's gonna be a pain for us because there are gonna be multiple keys and values nested within each other. Because of that, we're gonna be using JQ to process the JSON files. How do we do that? This is let's go over some basic first. Okay, now JQ and then R, which indicates that which tells JQ to input the raw data, and then we're gonna use this one period and then square brackets. It means that and then the book is JSON. Now it tells the command to start reading data from the current input, which in this case is going to be booklist.json. And then the square brackets indicate that, read data from each of the entry. So, or basically each of the element within the array, within the JSON file. So this one consider one element, this one consider another element, the third element, fourth element, fifth element, and so far so on. So you get the basic. So let's try seeing what. Okay, the output is a little bit easier to understand. There are 2 different colors, blue and green. Helps us identify which one are the keys and which one are the values of the key. However, again, this is just some basics, and because the file is small, it's easy for us. But when you try to do the same thing with AWS logs, let's try that. JQ-R and then CloudTrail. You see, it's gonna be a lot, and we're gonna be very confusing. We're gonna be very confused when looking at this. We don't know where to start. We don't know what to look for, and it's gonna take a lot of time for us. So because of that, we have to introduce another feature of JQ, which is creating custom headers for readability. So what do I mean by that? Going back to the simple booklist JSON file right here. Now we have the three keys: book titles, genre, page count, right? So we can create a custom header for that one. So the command is gonna be the same, but within here there are gonna be 2 parts. The first part is gonna be the table custom headers. So of title, and then genre, page count. These are the custom header that we created, and the second part is where we extract the data, the keys from the JSON file to match with the custom headers that we just created. It tells us, okay, start the same thing. Start from the current input and read every single element within that file. And then with all the, so it's gonna be output this one, and then we're gonna pipe this output into another one. Pipe this output into this one, which is book title. I'm gonna explain to you, don't worry about that. genre, and the other one is page count, and then pipe again to TSV table. So basically what it does is, up to this point, it creates custom headers for the file, read through the JSON file, each of the elements, and then it maps. This part is mapping each of the key with the custom header. So the book title key is going to be matching with the book title header. The genre key is going to be matching with the genre header, and the page count is going to be matching the page count header, etc. And then after that, it's going to be output to a table separate by values. So this is the whole thing that we're looking for within the book list JSON. And then once the output, we pipe the output into and display into the columns, whose columns are separated by tabs. Let's see what it does. Now it's easier for us to understand book title, genre, page count. Whereas now you may argue that, well, the above output is easier to understand. Yes, it's true. But as you can see earlier, as you saw earlier, the CLOUDTRAIL, it contains multiple keys and fields, and then a lot of them we may not be interested in. So we can actually create custom headers selecting the field that we're interested in, and then output like this. So it's gonna be easier for us to read and analyze the events. Does it make sense? I hope it makes sense to you. All right, let's continue to the activity. So I've explained this part. Excuse me. This part is also be explained. All right. The glitch. Okay. Let's start analyzing the CLOUDTRAIL log JSON right here. Now that we look at, let's use Cheeky to filter the log events related to the where view bank account qr.png subject S3 object. The goal is to use the same elements to filter the log file using JQ and format the results into the table that makes it more readable. According to MaxKitty, the logs are stored in the where logs. Okay, it's gonna be the logs that we're looking at right here, the CLOUDTRAIL log.json. With the command we learned above, we initially changed our current directory. Okay, just an instruction. We are currently interested in the file right here in the S3 buckets. So, okay, let's take a look at this one first. So we're gonna be filtering the results with only the elements that whose event source is S3, Amazon AWS.com. Now again, this is very hard to understand because there are a lot of information. So let me slow down a little bit. Let's just try from the start. Let's just try JQ and then dasher. Was it okay? Record. And then CLOUDTRAIL.json. Now, as you can see right here, the event source, there are different. We do have the event source, but there are different values for the event source. signin.amazon.aws.com. We also have another event source, which is signin. Okay, another event with this same event source name. We have, what else do we have? Event source, same thing. All right. In short, we see a lot of sign in.amazonaws.com event source name, and it's very hard for us if we only interested in S3, and hence we have to run the above the previous command, which is this one. Filter out the event source name. Okay, let's slow down a little bit more. So we were slowing down. Now let's run this one. Now we have filtered all the event logs, all the events that whose event source name are aws3.aws Amazon AWS.com, right? However, it's not enough, because the second thing we look at is the request parameters. Like we are looking for those with a bucket name, and the bucket name is WhereView care for wheres. So that's why we include the second parameters right here. All right, so now we have filtered all the log events whose event name is S3 Amazon AWS.com, and then the bucket name is WhereView care for wheres. What's next? As you can see in the command output, we're able to trim down the results since all the entries are from S3. Oops, sorry. However, it is still a bit overwhelming since all the fields are included in the output. Now, let's refine the output by selecting the significant fields. Execute the following commands. Okay, execute this command. Now, this is similar to what we did earlier. We select everything and whose event source is s3.amazonaws.com, and the bucket name is WhereView care for wheres, and then we pipe the output and only look for the fields event time, event name, user identity dot username. This double slash and then NA mean that not available, means that if this field username user identity username is empty, then use a default value which is not available. The same here. Request parameters dot bucket name. If it's empty, then use the default value, not available. Same here. Request parameter key, NA, source IP address, NA, cloud. Okay. Yep. So far so good. Nothing much. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we've trimmed that to 5 entries. Easier to understand. But wait, what are these? Okay, we can know this is the timestamp. How about this? Maybe an action. Okay, username. What is this? Okay, this may be the S3 bucket names, because we know that we've been running the command, so we know that. But for some people who just came onto this, they may have no idea what it is. And what's it? NAs? What's that stand for? And then this must be an IP address, but is it from the source IP address, or is it for the destination IP address? We don't know. All right, let's keep going. As we can see in the results, we could focus on the notable items, but our initial goal is to render output in a table to make it easier to digest. So now we create a table with custom headers, like I did earlier with the booklist.json file. So it's gonna be this command. Similarly, same concept. It's just like you have to type more with more custom headers and more keys to look for. But basically the concept is the same. Run it, and we have event time, event name, user, bucket name, key, and source IP address. Now the logs have become easier to understand and interpret. It's also easier for us to analyze what actually happens. Right? What's next? I'll grab the command. Let's summarize. So we know all the activities happening to the S3 buckets, the where view care for web S3 buckets. We have list object. Somebody tried to access the bucket. Somebody tried to make a change to the bucket, which is glitch. All of them are glitch. That's the only users. So the question, there are two things we have to investigate. First is the username glitch. Second is the source IP address, because these two may be key information for finding out what actually happened within the system. Let's continue. Okay, now that we have crafted a check query that provides a well-defined output, let's look at the results and observe the events. Based on color, we'll answer the following questions. How many logs entries are related to where views? 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes. Which user initiated most of the glitch? Which actions did the user perform based on the event name field? We have two actions, which is the list object and the put objects. Those are the two main actions. Were there any specific files edited? Yes, there was a file, which is where view bank account QR PNG. What is the timestamp of these two log entries? It's gonna be November 28th at around 3:22 p.m. And what's the source IP address? It's gonna be 5394.201. Okay. So now we have been able to answer these questions. Let's continue with the analysis. Looking at the results, 5 log events seem to be related to. Okay, we will answer these questions. Masquerade issue, there was no user glitch in the system before. There is no one in the city hall with that name either. The only person that Masquerade knows with that name is a hacker who keeps to himself. Masquerade suggests that we look into this anomalous user. Masquerade wants to know what this anomalous user has been used for, when it was created, and who created it. Enter the command below to see all the events related to the anomalous user. We can focus on analysis of further questions. What event types are included in these log entries? What is the timestamp of these log entries? Which IPs are included in these log entries? And what tool or what tools or OS was used in these log entries? Okay, let's start with this command. Let's see what does. What happened when we press Ctrl V? What you see? So this one is retrieving all the log events related to S3 buckets, so it retrieves all the information, all the activities performed by glitch user. So glitch perform some actions on AWS S3 service, also one console login sign in. So the glitch user signed into the system at some point. Yep, list the bucket, put the list objects, put object, list. Okay, what else? The results show that the user glitch mostly targeted S3 bucket. The notable event is the console login entry, which tells us that the account was used to access the AWS management console using a browser. Oh, so this is a key information right here, the console login. So the user is using a browser, and because the user is using a browser, it is worth looking at the user agent to see what OS was used. There are two user agents values included in all the logs file related to glitch user. Let's do it. Run this one to figure out the log user agents. The user agent, my bad. This is not true. Okay, one is the S3 console AWS internal, and then the other one is the Mozilla Firefox on a Mac computer using Safari. Okay, there are two values included. Okay, as experience a tracker can forge its value, but we should not dismiss this information. It can be valuable when comparing different log entries for the same user. We will part the current information for now. Let's gather for more information to connect the dots. So far, this information is not helpful at all. But as the room mentioned, as the module mentioned, that it is very important to analyze the user agent, because sometimes it may give you some ideas how the attack is performed, or where the attacker is coming from, and what browsers, OS system, or devices they use to perform the exploit. The next interesting event to look for is who created this anomalous user account. We will filter all the IAM related events, and this can be done by using the selected field event source equal IAM Amazon AWS.com. So earlier we were interested in S3 bucket, so we were using event source equal to S3 Amazon AWS.com. Now we're interested in IAM related events, so the event source should be IAM.AmazonAWS.com. Let's do it. Copy, paste right here. So the user is MaxKitty, list policy, web get policy, list policy, list get policy. Create login profile, attach user policy. Okay, list policy. Create users. Okay. So it looks like MaxKitty is the main user that is responsible for all of these IAM events going on. Based on the results, there are many list policies events. By ignoring these events, it seems that the most significant IAM activity is about the user MaxKitty invoking the create user action, and consequently invoking the attach user policy action. The source IP address where the requests were made is 53.94.201.69. This is the same IP address that came from glitch user. Remember, yeah. And we start to look. Let's have a more detailed look at the event related to the create user action by executing the follow commands right here. So IAM Amazon, and then event name is create user, CLOUDTRAIL. User, and then IAM MaxKitty. User. So this is event name is create user, and then the request parameter is glitch. So it is confirmed that MaxKitty is the person or the username that created this anomalous user glitch in the system. Yes, based on the request parameter output, it can be seen that the user MaxKitty who created anomalous account. Now we need to know what permissions the anomalous user has. It could be devastating if it has access to our whole environment. We need to figure out the attach policy event to uncover the permissions set for the newly created user. This event applies access policies to users, defining the extent of access to the account. Let's filter. Okay, let's run this command, see what permission he has. I am user, this is my, okay, this is the person who performs the action. And this is, I am attached user policy. Username glitch, I am user, okay. And he's got administrator access. Oh, that's not good. So up until this point, Max Giddy is considered to be the main suspect of creating that suspicious anomalous user within the system. He or she may be an insider, but she refused because she said, "Well, this is not me. I'm not doing anything like that." So Max Giddy requested more investigation, and so we did. She knows that she create the anomalous user and did not assign the privileged access. She also doesn't recognize the IP address involved in the events and does not use a Mac OS. She only uses Windows machine. All this information is different from to the typical IP address and machine used by Max Giddy. So she wants to prove her innocence and asks to continue the investigation. Max Giddy suggests looking closely at the IP address and operating system related to these anomalous events. Let's follow the commands to continue the investigation. This one, let's see what this one does. Okay, the field select the IP address. So we are looking into the IP address right here. Okay, so these are all the event logs that are related to this suspicious IP address. We see different username: Maya malware, glitch, Max Giddy, Maya malware. Okay, there's another person popping up, and then we can see right here Maya malware was using the console log to log in. So we have another prime suspect here. It may be Maya malware, not Max Giddy. No, we can now, because we have 3 users associated with the IP address. We have to look at each of the user individually to see what happens. Let's try this command, and then we're gonna replace them with the username. Because we're interested in Maya malware first, so let's. Is it malware Maya malware? Maya malware. Let's try this one first. Okay, something's missing. Oh. Okay, so we have event source is sign in. The event name is console login. Okay, username malware. Okay, user agent is Mozilla. Okay. This is from Maya malware. Let's take a look at glitch. Max Giddy, the second most suspicious person. Oh, look at that. We have Max Giddy was using different devices. See, this is where the user comes into play. As we have investigated earlier, that all of the activities are coming from the Mac OS of coming from a Mac device, but Masquerade said that she only used it with a machine, which is here, right here, and then this is also the IP address that and this IP address wasn't associated with the one that she's usually used, and this must have been Masquerade regular IP address, not this one. So it seems like some abnormal activities have been going on right here, and then looking at timestamp is exactly around 3 p.m. 321 322 the user glitch is created. So it looks like Masquerade was impersonated by someone else, in this case malware, I suspect. Why gathering the information? Okay, let's try last one, glitch, and see what this. Let's try that. No. Glitch. I mean, basically we already saw glitch, so there's nothing new about glitch. It's just another anomalous user created by the prompt suspect. So there are only two people right now, Masquerade and malware. While gathering information for each user, we can focus on investigation for the question, which IP address does each user typically use to log in AWS? So malware was using this one, 539421 and then 69, whereas Masquerade was using she was using this one, 31 210 1579. This is her usual IP address, not this one. This one is used by the malware. Okay, which OS and browser does each user usually use? So Masquerade use Windows Machine, and then Masquerade use Windows Machine, whereas I think malware was using the Mac OS. We can double check. I'm pretty sure he was using the Mac device. There we go. Yeah, he was using the Mac device. Based on the results, we have proven that Masquerade used different IP address before the unusual authentication was discovered. Moreover, all evidence seems to point towards another user after correlating the IP address and user agent by each user. Who do you think it could be? Masquerade has processed all the investigation results and summarized them below. The incident started with an anomalous login with the user account Masquerade from IP address 53.94.201.69. Shortly after the login, an anomalous user account glitch was created. Then the glitch user account was assigned administrator permission. The glitch user account then accessed the S3 bucket named Wellview Carefulwares and replaced the Wellview bank account QR.png file with a new one. The IP address and user agent used to log in with glitch, Masquerade, and malware accounts were all the same, meaning that's after the incident. The user agent string and source IP of current login by the user account Masquerade are different. Definite evidence. Masquerade suggests that gathering stronger proof that that person was behind this incident. Luckily, Wellview Bank cooperated with us and provided their database logs from the Amazon relational database services. They also mentioned that these are captured through the CloudWatch, which differs from the CloudTrail logs that they are not stored in JSON format. So let's look at it. Grep insert, and then RDS log. Okay, so we see different. What do we have? Account number, account owner, and then amount. So account number, account owner is care for reference, okay, and the value is right here up to this point. Let's see if the timestamp match. Yes, so the user logged in around 3:21 p.m. and then create a new user glitch. Go to S3 bucket, change the PNG QR, the QR PNG, and then after that, money start pouring into malware account, malware's account. Wait, makes sense right now. 3:23 p.m. Excuse me, everything clicks. Okay, so as shown above, the careful when funds receive all the donation until it change into a different account at a specific time. The logs also reveal who received the donations afterward. It gives the account owner's name. All the findings Masquerade confirm that the assumptions made during the investigation of the S3 bucket, since the sudden change in the bank detail was reflected in the database log. Timeline of the events collected by Masquerade explain the connection of actions of conducted grouping. So Masquerade is clear right now. She has proven herself innocent by analyzing the logs. You know, it goes back to day number 2 or number 3 where we learned about true positive and false positive. Sometimes things are not the way it seems. Masquerade at first seems to be guilty of charge, but with further investigation, she was able to prove herself innocent. This is why it's very important to go deep into the root, to go deep into the investigations of an incident, because we may unravel a lot of things that we have not known. So pretty much that's it for the room today. I mean, it is quite a room in terms of the commands we use. Notice that I always copy and paste because I know that if I type out the commands, it's gonna take a long time and there are gonna be a lot of mistakes and typos, which makes the video very long and boring for you guys. I try to make it short. So now let's get to the questions and answer it, and we can just finish the video today. I know it's long. Okay, what is the other activity made by the user glitch aside from the list object option? Oh, we talk about that. Put object. It really S3 bucket of the user glitch. It was this one. Based on the event source field, when AWS generate console log event, is sign in AWS Amazon AWS.com. I know somehow going through each of the command and then reading logs helps me remember some of the details of the incidents. When did the anomalous users to get the console log event? We have to go back to glitch. AoC. To be exact. It's right here. Console login. Console, not console. Oops. Yes. What was the name of the user that was created by the Masquerade user? Glitch. Ouch. Oopsie. What type of access was assigned to? Okay, it was administrator access. Administrator access. Which IP domain would typically use to log in AWS? Isn't it this one? Yeah, I think this one. Yes. Masquerade Azure IP address. Skitty. 10. Okay, what's the bank account name? Account number. Grab in search RDS log. Grab Meyer. Copy, paste. Yes, and finally we're done for the room. Long and tedious. And I know that the JQ tool is very confusing for you right now, but the more you practice it, the more familiar you get used to the tool, and then I promise you it's a very useful tool to use, especially when you try to read some JSON formatted files. And then also, I believe this is a fun room. AWS, okay, first of all, cloud environments are being used by many companies nowadays, so it's very important to be able to retrieve information, filter values from CloudWatch and CloudTrail log events. It's gonna be a very beneficial. It's very beneficial to you when you come to a job interview. Say, hey, you know what? I've been working with the AWS CloudWatch and CloudTrails log events, and then I was able to retrieve those log events and using the JQ tools, which is a very high demand skill, right? One of the very high demand skill right now. So if you master the JQ, know how to go around and then retrieve information from CloudTrail log events, CloudTrail and CloudWatch log events, then you should be good. All right, that's it for the video today. I hope you enjoyed the video. And if you have any questions or concern, or if my explanation is not very clear, feel free to reach out to me. I'll be happy to help you. All right, and I have a write-up which I will be linking in my description down below. Thank you very much, and I'll see you next time. Bye.